This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 207 of the Stable Scoop Radio Show. We love an English winter. Please support our sponsors as they make this show possible.
Equestrian Collections offers the whole universe of shopping at your fingertips at a price you can afford at equestriancollections.com. Also, Kentucky Performance Products, scientifically proven supplements for your horse. You can find links to all of our sponsors at stablescoop.com.
Welcome to the Stable Scoop, with weekly shows delivered right to you. With Helena and Glenn the Geek, live from the stable, it's every week. They bring you the news through hail or high water, while using their tails as their own fly swatters. So sit on down and laugh till you poop, cause it's time again for the Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. The Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop.
I am Glenn the Geek.
And I'm Helena B., and you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
Who gets a cold in the summer? Colds should not be allowed in the summer.
Who has a cold?
Me. I'm just saying. I don't.
You have a cold?
Yes, and you shouldn't get one in the summer. It's just more miserable in the summer. Just saying.
And it's a cold, not like allergies?
It's a cold.
Oh.
Got it yesterday.
Does Jen have it?
Not yet, but I'll be sure to give it to her.
Not yet. You're evil. You're evil.
We have a great show planned for today. We're going to talk a little bit, of course, about what else. Everybody's talking about the Olympics, right?
Yes, yes.
But you got a great guest to talk about it with.
I do have a great guest. We're going to have Emma Winter of Wayfarer Eventing on with us. For those longtime Stable Scoop listeners, you'll remember that we had Emma on about a year or so ago. And we were talking to her about what it's like to be a multitasking horsewoman. She and her husband, Olympic rider Mike Winter, have been running Wayfarer Eventing for a number of years. And they originally started out in Noonan, Georgia. And we were talking to Emma about being a wife, a mother, trainer, a competitor, and being married to an Olympian. And so we've just sort of caught up with her. They had some big changes in their lives. They moved from the U.S. back to the UK, where Emma is from. And for those of you who don't know about Emma and Mike Winter, well, Emma in particular, Emma Winter has been an active equestrian athlete for many years, with a long history of representing Great Britain, both in the United Kingdom and in the United States. Among her many accomplishments include top finishes representing Britain at both Rolex and at Burghley in the UK. She is definitely an international three-day competitor of the highest level. While based in England several years ago, Emma competed her talented advanced horse, Mahogany Chief, as well as bringing along many talented young horses. Her most significant work while in England was finding horses for U.S.-based riders, serving as an agent and advisor to many of those buyers. Emma and her husband, Canadian Olympic eventer Mike Winter, relocated to the UK after many years operating Wayfarer Eventing in Noonan, Georgia. Now back on her home turf, Emma and Mike have been focusing on raising their two daughters, as well as training and competing up-and-coming event horses.
But first, we're going to go to a guest right after our sponsor here, Equestrian Collections Product of the Week. We're going to go talk to Terry Levine, who is doing a project called Get That Horse Out of the Kitchen. Yes, you heard it right. So we're going to find out what exactly that is and what good cause they're doing it for in just a minute after this word from Equestrian Collections. Glenn the Geek here, and I am with Debbie from Equestrian Collections with the Equestrian Collections Product of the Week. And actually this week, it's a lot of products.
Yes. I just wanted all of our customers and listeners to know that here at Equestrian Collections, we have a section on our website called the Outlet Store. That's a place where we put items that they're up to 30 to 40% off, some of them all the way up to 70% off. And the way this works is if we have a vendor who has an item that, say, is sold out in a certain style or color, and so we won't be able to get any more of those, but we have some in stock and we need to go ahead and move them out to make room for new things, we put them on our outlet store and we reduce the price. So that's where you can get things that you can't always get anywhere else. We also, if we have returns that maybe have a little scuff on them or something like that that we don't want to resell as new, we can put them in the outlet store, cut the price, and you can get a great deal on that. To get to that, you can go to our homepage, click on Sales and Clearance, and then there's a little tab there that says Outlet Store. One thing to remember, these things are returnable. They're returnable, but only for store credit. So if you buy from the outlet store, you can return it, but what you will get is a store credit, and then you can use that store credit to buy other things on our site. So it's really a great place to go and find things that at such great prices, all top of the line, all regular vendor stuff, just maybe has been here or is sold out or something like that. So come visit our outlet store and see what you can find.
Over 35 pages of stuff, everybody, right now on the outlet store. That's a lot of items at equestriancollections.com. Well, now we have up Terry Levine, who is going to talk to us about a project they have going, and they actually want you to contribute to it, and it's called Get That Horse Out of the Kitchen. Find out what that is right now. Well, hi, Terry. Thank you for coming on the Stable Scoop Show. What caught my attention when I first saw this post on Facebook was the name, and it's the reason I had to have you on, and it was Get That Horse Out of the Kitchen. What the heck is Get That Horse Out of the Kitchen?
Well, it was inspired by my daughter. With the economy as tough as it is, and here she is at 17, I think she's been riding 11 years now, she had commented to me that, gee, a lot of kids don't even get to ride because it's expensive, and it would be nice if we could help them. So that kind of got our wheels turning, and we tossed around ideas for a couple weeks on how we might help get more kids to ride or introduce them to riding through equestrian summer camps. And I was interested in a cookbook format, so we talked about that, but we felt the real exciting part of the book could be equestrian stories. So, and we've heard equestrians talk about, one time my horse went into the kitchen and my mom was so mad, So we thought, let's capture some short stories from equestrians, their favorite recipe that they probably bring to horse shows or rodeos or barbecues and everyone loves, and a couple of their choice photos from either their youth or their current riding or even their family, their grandparent that might have been a mentor, and they have a great photo of them. So that is the book now, Get That Horse Out of the Kitchen, and it's treasured stories and recipes from equestrians.
Huh. Well, that's an interesting idea. So now, is this it's actually a hardcover book, or?
No, we're in the collection phase. So
Okay.
We launched in June, and we launched through Facebook and Twitter and our website, and we're collecting the stories now. We had hoped to start with Oregon and then go across the United States with books specific to each state. But right now, several of the recipes we're getting that are so much fun are from other states or even outside the country. So we may end up tweaking that strategy a little bit because we don't want to disappoint people. They are sending in some really nice stuff.
And you have to kind of stay a little bit flexible like that with your plan because, our horses are unpredictable. We're unpredictable. I have a feeling this will evolve a little bit as you go through the collection phase because you never know what little gems of stories that you're going to come upon. Or maybe you do know. That's why you're putting a book together.
It is evolving. We find some people just love to relay their story, and some people, it scares them to actually write something down. They don't know how to go about it, and so we suggest, well, if you don't want to do a story, then how about sending in a couple recipes instead, or share your favorite quote, whatever inspires you.
Well, that's terrific. I think it's a great cause, too. Tell us about the Kids Can Ride program.
Well, so that's where helping the young people learn to ride or get introduced to the equestrian sport. The proceeds from the book sale, when we published, those proceeds would be going to a nonprofit that is structured to support the equestrian sport. And they would give out scholarships to applicants and for summer camp or riding school. And we also have an application for facilities, riding schools and camps, to apply to participate in the program. So we have our screening process for applicants and a screening process for the facilities that they would receive the students.
I bet you there's a ton of kids in this country that get their first exposure and love of horses at camp of some sort.
That's how I got mine.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
At camp, we have a wonderful story that was sent in from an Oregon lady, and it was about Camp Tamarack, which many people here know. It's in Central Oregon. It's a wonderful camp on a lake, and it's an equestrian camp. And my daughter had attended there for several years. And this lady sent in her story of how she fell in love with each horse that she rode every summer. And then one summer that her parents surprised her with buying the horse. And I started crying when I read the story. It was so cute. It was just wonderful. So to have that shared with us so that we can incorporate it into the book, and so many parents of equestrian daughters would really relate to it. It was very cute.
Oh gosh, I mean, I'm thinking too right now, Glenn, of like Jamie's story about Jet. Just all these. We all have these really inspiring, tear-provoking stories. We have funny ones like Sissy's hunting the wrong horse and all that stuff, but. I feel like there's a story around every corner. I mean, this could be really big and really long-lived.
We had a farm that was back a long lane and was really set back by itself. First one I met Jennifer at, actually, and we had this like 100-year-old pony that used to be loose. So we left him loose in the yard and stuff. He just had the full run of the place because he never went anywhere. And a little tiny pony, probably 12 hands, and every morning we'd get up, we'd eat our breakfast, and you'd open the back door, and the pony's nose would be right there at the back door, sticking his nose in the back door. And a couple times that pony came in the house. So, everybody has those stories of those little times and little and the animals. And some of those stories I can see you associate with food. You associate some of them with food.
That's right up your alley, Glenn.
Yeah, I know.
That's the perfect marriage between being a horse husband and being a horse husband, I guess.
And no matter which discipline you do, whether you're hunting or whether you're doing eventing or whatever you're doing, everybody has their favorite tailgating foods or lunch foods or whatever that they bring along. Everybody has that special something that you look forward to, and so brings it every time. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's why the recipe sharing is so much fun, because we do relate to, we know that equestrians' recipes are really favorites of everyone, and that they're shared very often throughout
and they're
the
usually
year.
Pretty simple because we're not very good cooks in a whole. So.
No, we're not. Oh, and I'm probably one of the worst out there.
So the Kids Could Ride program, we really think it has a lot of potential to helping introduce the sport to children. Also, what we found is high school equestrian teams. Many of those that want to participate on those teams can't afford to, because although they're high school teams, there's still costs involved with it, such as the trailering or the initial fees to be on the team. And we're hoping that this program is so successful that we can evolve it to helping at a high school level too, so that they can be in a team sport.
Now, you said this was your daughter's idea that started it?
Yes, it is. She's 17 and off to being a senior in high school and thinking a lot about life and experiences and what she's going to do with hers. And she's been involved in some nonprofit work, rehabilitating a troubled youth center up in British Columbia. And I think coming back this summer from that trip, she started thinking about, well, how do we get more kids riding? So she helps with the marketing. I help with the marketing, I should say, because I'm a marketing professional. But she does a lot of the outreach, sending out emails, contacting people to try to get recipes in, some of the Facebook work. It keeps us busy.
Well, how proud you must be.
Yeah.
I really am. You know, she's a terrific kid, and it's been a wonderful 11 years experience with her, with the horses. I'm not a rider, but I feel I've been in a barn every day for 11 years. I've been on the board of directors for a historic site, 75-year-old barn in our area, and I'm on a advisory board for the Oregon Horse Country. So here I don't ride, but it sure has become part of my life.
Well, where can people submit their stories? What's the website again?
The website is EQ, storiesandrecipes.org.
So it's eqstoriesandrecipes.org if you want to get your story, and beautiful website, by the way.
Thank you.
You can find it there, and well, good luck with it, and will you let us know when the book actually comes out?
I definitely will, and for everyone, it's free to contribute your stories, and there's an easy online form.
Terrific. Thank you very much, Terry.
And now, catching up with Emma Winter. Welcome back to Stable Scoop, Emma. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
Now, it's been, I know it's been at least a year, maybe more, that we last had you on Stable Scoop. And for those listeners who are not familiar with Emma, what we did last time, what we talked about was, what I thought was actually unique about Emma is her ability to juggle so many parts of being a horsewoman, being a mother, being a competitor, being a business owner, being a wife, and doing all of those things so well. And so I wanted to catch up. There have been quite a few changes for you and Mike and the kids, and for Wayfarer Eventing, not the least of which was moving from the United States back to the UK. So has life calmed down for you at all?
No. Actually, it's gotten slightly more hectic since we moved. You know, our idea of coming back, well, me coming back, but all of us moving back to England was to take things a little bit quieter, you know, less horses, less students, all of that kind of business, and just really focus on our riding and raising the children. Well, it's kind of gradually escalated. And now we're back at the yard that we were originally at, which is really lovely. And we have 20 boxes, and I think we have about 18 horses in, or 17 horses in at the moment. So it's pretty close to what it was when we lived in Georgia, but not as many students. That's the kind of difference in our business here to the business that was in the States. We had lots of students there, and you know, all varieties from, you know, lower level riders that were just starting eventing and, you know, juniors all the way up through to advanced riders and stuff. But now we just have a very small group of people that we teach. They keep their horses with us, and they go to competitions with us, and that's really it. But we do have a lot of horses in training and sales horses of our own that we have purchased and we're producing, and with the kind of idea that we'll sell them on. So that's the way the business has changed. But no, it's not calmed down at all.
So you're doing a lot more riding and training then these days?
I wouldn't say a lot more riding. We have less horses of that we are competing compared to what we had in the States. But we're still doing, you know, plenty of riding. We just have what they call over here liveries, which in the States would be called boarders. And we have about 6 of them. Well, actually, no, there's about 4 of them, but they each have a couple of horses. And so they keep their horses with us, and they get lessons every week. And if they can't come, we'll ride or compete their horses or whatever. So in that way, it's a little bit different. That's not something that we really had in the States. We had some working students, but mostly all the horses were there for us to compete or compete to sell. Whereas we just have, Mike has 5, and I think I have 3 horses that we have that live with us, that we either own or own part of, that are there, you know, to get sold.
You know,
or to compete.
Emma, This is so funny. When we first started doing these shows, it took me a minute or two the first time we spoke to our first person from Great Britain to figure out what a yard, and I could not understand why they were putting horses in boxes. I just couldn't figure that out. I was like, Why are they putting the horses in boxes?
Yeah, your garden. I know. The terminology is so different from here to there. And I was talking to Kyle Carter yesterday, actually, after, the Olympics and everything. And I had to keep saying, oh, yeah, this one goes novice. Oh, sorry, I mean preliminary, because over here, even the levels are named differently at certain things. So a yard is a stable yard or, a barn. We still call it the barn, but it's used as called the yard over here. And then, different things. And boxes, that's their stalls,
Yes.
If you call it a stall over here, they look at you like you're crazy. What's that?
Well, now, Helena, you got to watch the eventing, right, in the Olympics?
Yes.
And did you get to watch it at least at home there, Emma?
Yes, I didn't get to go, unfortunately. Tickets were, lottery system, and we didn't get to go, which is unfortunate. But I think the BBC does such an amazing job with the coverage that it was on. Obviously, it being in London and everything, there was maybe better coverage than usual, but it was phenomenal. I sat down and I said, okay, today I am watching the games on Monday. I'm not doing anything else, so nobody bother me. And we sat for 6 hours, I think it was, glued with square eyes at the end and watched as much as we could, which was it was brilliant. It was really exciting to see. It's exciting to see because it feels like it's so close, but also to see, people that whether they did well or not so well, it's really exciting. And see that caliber of horse and rider, all competing against each other is phenomenal.
Now, do you and Mike sort of like elbow each other and be like, "Oh, look at that! I can't believe she did that," or do you have that commentary, that shared like conversation while you're watching? I mean,
you mean like sideline critics?
Yeah, exactly. Because you have an Olympian and an Olympic level rider. The two of you are so top level to be watching. Then these are your peers. These are people that you have ridden and competed with, and then to see them, does it just blurt out of your mouth when you're watching this?
Sometimes you're a bit surprised by some stuff, and sometimes you're in awe. You're like, oh, how amazing are they, or how amazing is that horse, or how effortless did that look, or and you see people make mistakes that anything can happen, and people make mistakes and horses make mistakes, and that's just the name of the game, isn't it? So when things happen, it's unfortunate. Sometimes you think, oh, did they not see that coming? But you never know. If you've been in their situation, you might have made the same mistake. So it's kind of hard. I mean, we're all like that because we're all kind of competitive, so we can be sideline critics. But on the whole, I mean, they're there and we're not. So to ride at that level under that kind of pressure for your country is a pretty hard thing to do, I would have to say. Not having ever done it, but Mike having done it, he says it's just, the pressure is unbelievable.
They do say that they feel more pressure riding for the team than they do for the individual, just because you have that, you do feel the pressure of the whole country on you.
Yeah, and letting down all of your teammates as well. Like I imagine you probably, I know it's hard, like to be the dropped score or something like that. That's got to be hard if you feel like your performance wasn't good enough, that it really counted in a way, I imagine. But I mean, they're all there, and to watch them was unbelievable. We had Ronald Zabala staying with us for the month. He came from Germany leading up to get ready to go to the games, and he's been great. And obviously we were watching him, and he did a fantastic job. He's a businessman that bought this horse and has gotten there and done it. And it was amazing watching him, go around and some of our, our friends that we would consider that were there, and some of them did great and some of them didn't have their best performance. And so that's hard, Well,
you must be a mighty proud subject of the Queen right now with coming in and getting the silver medal over there.
Yeah, it's exciting. They were unbelievable. I mean, I think they would have really loved to have won the gold medal, but the Germans just outclassed everybody. You know, they were unreal. They did not put a foot wrong. And I think our riders, they performed amazingly. And I mean, especially, I think I have a soft spot for Tina Cook and her horse, because I just think that horse is class beyond class, and she is such a cool customer, and she rode beautifully. I mean, she really, really is something to be reckoned with. And Mary as well, like she's 51 and she's still out there at the top of her game. She's quite incredible. And the other thing I find about them, you know, listening to them and seeing them at the events, like I was at an event, a 1-star last season with Mary, and she was stabled next to me, and she's there on her own, no grooming for herself at the event. They're so humble. You know, there's no airs with them. They're just normal people, and you see them at the event and they say, hi, how are you? And, you know, they're just really down to earth. And William we see quite a lot, and Mike, you know, talks to them, and they're just normal, you know. There's no pretense with them, which is so nice to see people that do the same thing as you. And you know, eventing has always been kind of classed a little bit as an elitist sport because of the money involved in it and everything. But they're just really nice, and they're really down to earth. And when you see them on a regular basis at the competitions, they lose that kind of like aura of, oh my God, it's so-and-so, because they're just there doing their job just like everybody else is, you know?
You know what's funny about that, though, Emma, and I think Helena would agree with this, in the United States, that perception's completely different. Eventing is the down-to-earth sport here. Where jumping and dressage is you know, are the upper crust sports, and eventing seems to be the sport that we look at as the down-to-earth, just every day. You know, you're just all trying to stay alive, which makes it very humbling.
But you know what, too, that you have to be a really good all-around horse person to be successful in the eventing world. And I think, for me, I think really good horse person goes hand in hand with having some humility and being humble enough to, like you said, we all have good rides and bad rides. But I think, at least from stateside, looking at eventing, I think it's hard to be critical of somebody else, but to be sitting, you know, watching the television and really, you know, gritting your teeth and leaning to the left and, you know, and really rooting.
Come on,
right. You know, lifting that knee up,
them.
clucking when you see him back off a little bit. And I just feel more inspired, you know, watching from whether it's, you know, they had a really good ride or they had a challenging ride.
Absolutely.
You feel so connected to them.
Yeah.
Even if they're 2,000 miles away.
Inspiring. It's really inspiring to watch them, and it makes you kind of strive to be better, I think, when you see that level of rider going and competing. And, you know, you have to really want it to get it at the top level. There's no pass, you know, you don't just, it's not like that. I mean, you have to really be able to want to get to the other side to make it happen. And you have to be able to take the highs and the lows. Yeah. So it does make you, you know, really realize that you're not immortal when you do this, that, you know, you can be at the top of it 1 minute and at the bottom the next. And that's kind of grounding, I think, which is good.
Speaking of which, we had an opportunity on Wednesday morning on Horses in the Morning to speak with Holly Bennett and Jamal, her husband. And you probably have met Holly along the way.
Yeah, she's really sweet.
She took a fall in the cross country in London, and we spoke to her from her hospital bed. She's doing well, and she's anxious to get back. She fractured her hip in that fall, and also took a whack to the head. But
I heard that.
She said that you know, she would be not able to talk to us had it not been for the .2 air vests. And boy, did we see those going off left and right all over the cross country course.
Yeah.
They have saved a lot of people. As an eventer, you've got to be, you know, that's a piece of protection that you're thankful you have at this point.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, because the margin for error is so small as you move up the levels, you know, you have to kind of make sure that not only do you have all the right kit, like, you know, our sport's always evolving, and but you have to make sure also that, you know, you do all your groundwork too, as far as you're training the horses and all the rest of it, and making sure that your horse knows what it's doing when it goes out there, and you know what you're doing. You have all this right skill set. But yeah, definitely, you know, pieces of equipment like that are, you know, it's a great thing. So, yeah.
Her horse, Gin and Juice, seemed to finish the entire course by himself then, too, at a dead gallop.
I saw that. It's galloping. Oh, no. She was a good mare, that one.
I see, and that's the thing is you see these little, like, I think people who are in the sport see things that other people don't see. And then as you go up through the levels, you have a detail to your vision that, you know, someone at the lower levels might not see. And you'll say, oh man, what a mare, you know, or, you know, stuff like that. Now,
before you go on, Helena, the Western riders have a saying that just epitomizes what Emma just said. It's you can fake the silver, you can fake the tail, but you cannot fake the riding.
Yeah.
You know, that's true.
That's right. No fake tails.
Yep, exactly.
No fake riding.
Right.
No fake riding and eventing. We go out there with our rat tails and our poop stains.
That's it. Exactly.
Now, Emma, you've had, you and Mike have spent some time focusing on raising your two daughters who are fairly young. And, you know, that's a really important thing. That was a big decision for you guys to focus on your family. How's that going? Is it keeping you busy? I know you said it started out quiet once you got back to the UK, but things have, I know that one of your daughters competes, doesn't she?
Yes, that's Amelia. She just turned 11 in May. And she's been just finished junior school, so she was there for 3 years at junior school, and she loves it. She loves living here. She has a great pony that is just unbelievable, and she's about to go to senior school, but she does a lot with Pony Club because our Pony Club is it's very good, and it's very local to us, and we're fortunate now that being where we're located, we have a facility with a cross-country course and a show jumping course and a big arena and all kinds of stuff. So it's great for us to produce the horses, but also for Amelia, like she has friends come over and ride, and they go out and they jump around the cross-country and they spend the night. And some of the Pony Club has used our facility for training, for team training and stuff. So she's hugely involved in that. And she just did her first year at senior camp. So they go like for a week to camp, Pony Club camp, and it was her first time going to senior camp, and she won her little one-day event that they had there. So, and she's on all like the teams, you know, she just did the area eventing team and the dressage team and the show jumping team, and she has a blast with it, and she, like I say, she has the most unbelievable pony. It jumps for fun, and you know, it's phenomenal, and I just don't want her to grow too much because I want the pony. She's had it 2 years now. I'd like her to do another 2 years because it's 13.3. So, and it has like springs on its feet. It's just phenomenal over a fence, and she's just amazing. And fortunately, she's better than Mike and I. So
of course she is.
She'll be hopefully. I mean, she desperately wants to ride and do everything, but she does. You know, she's very, I wouldn't say she's very academic, but she's very interested in school. She loves her friends. She loves her school. She swims. She is a cross-country runner for her school. She also does district running for Gloucestershire, which is our county. And she plays goalie in our town under 13s girls football team.
Okay, so let's say, I'm going to say that the apple does not fall far from the mommy and daddy tree.
Well, I don't do any other sport.
No, but it sounds like she's got a lot of energy and a lot of love for moving and interacting, and it just sounds like she's a kid who's got that passion in her. And it sounds like mom and dad are encouraging that well-roundedness, which will, you know, we cross our fingers and we hope that will add to the longevity of her horsemanship.
Yes, I mean she's so good. At camp, they had to do for the dressage team, they had the dressage competition on Wednesday that we had to take the team to off-site. She platted 7 ponies to go to that, and then on the Friday morning before they had their one-day event and their they had like prize giving and stuff. She platted another 5. So she platted ponies of all the, and she's 11, she was the youngest there by far, and she platted all these ponies for different people. She's such a good sport, and she like is always there whether they do well or not so well. She's right there at the end of the cross country or the end of the show jumping line. Brilliant, well done, that was great. Doesn't matter you got eliminated, you still rode on. Let's go get an ice cream. She's very sweet like that, and she's a good girl, and she helps around the stables, and she's just a real cheerleader like that. She's really good.
What?
So, and she's quite excited because Lily is kind of interested, but not really. And she said, "Oh, that's good, because if Lily's really not interested in riding, do you think then the business can be mine when I grow up and I get?"
Oh, I love her. Oh, I love her.
That's funny.
She's so funny.
Now, what do you see as the difference now? You lived, this is Mike's first adventure at living in England, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, he spent like a summer here when he was getting ready for Burley in 2000. But
right. But he was training and doing his thing back then. Now he's actually living there and living the lifestyle. What do you see as the biggest advantages to living in England for you guys and for Mike as a competitor? What are the big advantages for you in eventing?
Well, the biggest advantages, I think, is the access to the competitions. I mean, we travel, I think the most we've traveled is 3 hours, and that was last year. I went to the championship, like the national kind of championships for age classes, and that was about 3 hours away, or 3.5. But the access to the big competitions and those big tracks, even at the lower levels, is so much greater. They're right there. I mean, we're literally, I think, 10 miles from Gatcombe, and they have 2 or 3 competitions a year, and also the access to horses. Purchasing and selling horses. There are so many horses here, and the quality in our minds is so great. And, we can go, like Mike's going to Ireland tomorrow to look for 2 horses. He could go there and look at, 20 horses in a day. And that doesn't happen in America. It's really hard to
not in one day.
No, exactly. If even ever, you have to drive all around or fly. But I think that is a great thing for us. And the difference over here from in the States, and I was talking to somebody about this the other day, like you can go and cross-country school at like event facilities in America. We used to be able to go to school at Popper Place and Pine Top and places like that. And that's great. It's great because there's facilities and they're available for people in Chat Hills. But over here, that doesn't happen at all. There's maybe 1 or 2 places that do that. So when you go to a competition, you're going not knowing what they've changed, what they've got on the course. I mean, obviously the lay of the land on the whole is generally the same year after year, but you don't know what you're going to get. And so it kind of ups your game a little bit. And also the technicality of the courses over here, right from the very lowest level, which would be, well, they have 80, but 90 is what we would start our horses at, which would be intro in America. They have to jump a corner. They have to jump. There's no options. They have to jump into water and out of water and over through a coffin and a skinny with no options. And so starting at the horses, jumping things like that at that level makes it very easy transition up through the levels to the highest level. The jumps get bigger and wider and obviously more technical, but generally the horses learn that they hold their line and they jump straight and they have to be bold and they have to be brave. And you don't get to wear a watch, so you have to learn to gallop at a good pace. So it's very different in that respect. Also, you have to, all 3 phases are on the grass pretty much, I'd say 85% of the time. You jump, you do your dressage on the grass, you do your show jumping on the grass, and obviously you go cross-country on the grass. So in that respect, it's also very different. Not always the best, because you don't get the best footing than jumping on the surface, but everything is up to height. The courses are shorter here because the land and the times are shorter. The land is not as, they don't have so much land as they do in the States to run a 5-minute training level course, whereas over here you go novice, that's preliminary, sorry, and it'll be 4.5 minutes. Like preliminary, and that's pretty short, but pretty quick. And we'll have 22 jumping efforts and stuff like that. But we have a girl that's just come over here as well from the States, and she's Imogen Davis, and she's a young rider, and she brought 2 horses over, and she came to Aston Le Walls a couple of weeks with us, and she said, I can't believe how fast everybody goes at intermediate and advanced, and the vertical faces of the jumps. There's much more vertical faces, and things come up a lot quicker here than they do. You don't have that big open galloping tracks as much.
And that was pretty obvious when you watched the Olympic track. I mean, it was, it definitely was that way. But now I have the most important question for you. Does Mike now have an English accent?
No, he doesn't. And neither does Amelia.
What do you think he is, Madonna? His accent doesn't change every time he moves.
Yeah, exactly. No. He loves living here. I think that's the impression I get. He misses his friends, and so do I, but he's really happy. He doesn't have an ulcer anymore. Which is self-inflicted, of course, but he loves it.
No help from his wife, of course. I'm just throwing that in.
No. He has some really lovely horses, and he's building up a group of owners. He has 3 horses, which hopefully will be prospective horses for Rio. One, unfortunately, is a 6-year-old, and that belongs to us, and that's for sale. But the other 2 are 7-year-olds, and he's really excited about those. The class of them is just, he calls them his secret weapons.
Now, he'll still ride, I assume his citizenship is still United States at this point.
Canada.
Oh, Canada. Yeah, I'm sorry, Canada.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
The poor Canadians had a rough time of it.
Oh,
wow.
I didn't know.
I felt very bad, except for Jessica, who I was very proud of. We've been following Jessica for years since we started the Horse Radio Network. She's been coming on with us, and we sort of had her picked as our WEG rider and everything. And she just continues to go out there and do stuff, and her horse is incredible, Exponential. Just neat.
Yeah, she did a really good job. She's a very gritty rider, isn't she? And she really stepped up to the plate and produced, which is good.
Yep.
Because unfortunately it wasn't the day for the others, which is a shame.
Yep.
But no, it's good, and it's a rebuilding time for them now. I think the Canadians, so hopefully they'll kind of go away and think about what happened and come back a bit stronger, and hopefully they'll come up with a new team manager that will help them, guide them that way, and get a bit of a program going again, because David's done such a good job, and really try and help those riders that are trying to get to those levels, really get to those levels and get owners interested, and and hopefully it'd be nice to see them do more of a European circuit. Some of the Americans come over and spend some time over here, and it'd be nice to see if the Canadians could do that a little bit, get their owners really psyched about just getting some more international coverage and experience and exposure, really. That's the main thing. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we moved back here, even though we didn't really come with any advanced horses. It's just being around those riders all the time and competing against them all the time and seeing the standard. It just makes you want to get better and better all the time.
Well, hopefully Mike will be helping the Canadian team out then in a couple of years in Rio.
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, you never know, but at the moment he's quite excited about these horses, and hopefully everything will fall into place, and he'll be able to do that for them. That would be his goal.
And if that's the case, then Helene and I are going to have to come down, because I wouldn't mind spending a couple days on the beaches in Rio sightseeing. So
I know, me too. I haven't been to either. He went to Athens, and I didn't get to go because I don't know what I was doing, but I was doing something. And I didn't. And when he went to Beijing, I wasn't able to do that. I think I was pregnant with Lily then, but I know I haven't been to either of the Olympic Games. And to be completely honest, I thought it was best I stayed out of his way, because it gets a little bit highly strung, when he's at a competition like that, a lot of pressure. And so I thought, probably not best for me to do
All right,
that.
you hang with Helena and I, and we'll let him do his thing, okay?
Yeah, I'll hang with you guys at the beach.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll
watch it on their phones.
Yeah, just rock up to watch him go. That sounds good.
Emma, we're just running out of time here. I wish that we could go on. And it's a shame that you're an ocean away, because I bet we could sit down over a cup of tea and keep this thing going and going.
Yeah, I know. It's been great. It's been great catching up with you guys. So it's really nice to have a chat and kind of catch up. So it's good.
And it's nice to hear that you can, that one's horse career and horse life can be, even at the highest levels, such as you and Mike, it can evolve, it can change, you can massage it to fit what's right for you at any given time. And so I think it's really important for our listeners to hear that, you can go from one area of your career to another, and it's just as fulfilling. And then, like you said, who knows what's going to happen in the future? You just have to be willing to roll with whatever presents itself at the time. And sometimes, something will present itself, and you just have to say, close your eyes and jump and say, let's just go with it.
And that's what we did. Yeah, coming here, because that was a big leap of faith. And we just said, if we're not going to do it now, we never will. So let's just do it. And we did, and it's worked out great. And we still come back to the States and teach clinics and see our friends and keep in contact, really close contact with a lot of people. But, you never lose those friends, do you? Friends are there forever. And it's sad that we're far away from each other, but, there's phone and there's internet and all the rest of it, and there's planes. So we get to see everybody and keep in contact. And, it's like you say, just a different stage in our lives, and lots of people visit us and we visit them. So it's great. It's been a great time for us. We're really happy here. So hopefully that continues, and, hopefully Mike will get on track to go to Rio. That would be ideal.
Well, you've got fans at the Horse Radio Network, that's for sure. And we're going to put links up to the Wayfarer Eventing website on our own website, so you can learn all about Mike and Emma Winter and their business Wayfarer Eventing. Emma, thank you so much. We're going to have to catch up with you in another year and see what's going on.
Well, thank you both very much. I really appreciate you calling me and having a chat.
Thanks to Emma, and now it is time for our Tack and Habit segment of the week. Hi everyone, Glenn the Geek here. Kentucky Performance Products has become a favorite of many listeners of the Horse Radio Network. They have a product that we want you to consider called Contribute. Take a listen to episode 14 of the Tack and Habit radio show, and you will hear a complete discussion on this product with Delia from Kentucky Performance Products. Contribute is the omega-3 fatty acid supplement that is so important to your horse's well-being. Contribute helps maintain soundness and longevity by protecting joints from damaging inflammation and sustains a strong immune response in horses of all ages. Learn all about omega-3 and 6 fatty acids and why they are so important by listening in at tackandhabit.com, episode 14, or go to kppusa.com for more information. That's kppusa.com. Now we both picked a kind of a product this week, didn't we?
We did. I have been using mine religiously for the last 8 weeks. And
so has my wife, by the way.
And when your wife is the one who introduced me to this item to begin with. And this was one of those things where I said, Jen, we're going out hunting. Should I bring it? And she said her famous line ever, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And I'll tell you, I have never, ever left it behind when I thought I might need it. And it is a fly whisk. It's a fly whisk.
A lot of people don't in the horse world. Jennifer uses hers every day because of the mosquitoes here, and we'll describe it here in a second. But a lot of people that she talks to, neighbors here that have horses, have never seen a fly whisk before.
It is the most amazing, simple invention ever, especially for horse people. And you know what? Even for non-horse people, I would walk through the woods with this thing. Essentially what it is, a fly whisk is probably, I don't even say probably, it's one of the most essential pieces of equipment in my barn, especially in the summertime. with a leather-wrapped handle that's not unlike a bat or a crop, a wooden shaft, and a long horsehair tail. The fly whisk is used just like a horse's tail to swat flies and biting insects away. So a lot of us go out with, and you carry it just like you would a crop, right? And it does, most of them have a little wrist loop so that, you don't have to constantly grab it, or you don't have to worry about losing it or dropping it. A lot of us put ear bonnets on our horses, fly sprays, and other insect repelling gadgets, only to work for so long and, of course, in a limited capacity. But if you add a fly whisk to your arsenal, your horse will thank you. Honestly, he will come right out and just kiss you, because it's so easy to, you can just swish it around his head or his hiney, or you can reach down with it under his belly.
First couple times you're taking this fly whisk and smacking their face with it. You don't really smack their face, but you know what I mean.
No, you don't. You swish it.
You swish it. It takes them some getting used to, but then after a while they like it because they realize it's helping them.
Yeah, don't get in the saddle and then suddenly whack your head your horse over the head with this whisk. Obviously, introduce him to it. It will take.
You won't be in the saddle long if you do that.
It'll take seconds for him to, because it's just like a horse's tail, so it's a sensation that is very natural to him or her.
And it can, because you're not carrying a crop with you, because you can't carry both. It can act as a crop when you need it to, too.
It is. It's more like, it's not very long, so it'll act more like a bat.
Right.
But I definitely don't carry a crop. There are times where I say, "Oh, gee, I wish I had a crop, or I wish I had a bat." But this thing can be anything that you need it to be, as long as it's keeping bugs off your horse's neck.
And I don't know about you guys, but the mosquitoes here have just been terrible. Now, I see in Massachusetts, they've been doing a lot of spraying. I see a lot of news reports they've been spraying because all over the country right now we're finding mosquitoes with EEE, and they're just really concerned about that.
Yes, and I think people's tolerance for the mosquitoes, or their tolerance for the risk of triple E, is down to zero. And so the towns and the state agencies are starting to hear them and spray. They're just getting it done. Just spray. Thankfully, we don't have a huge mosquito population here at least not in Little Compton.
That's because they all came south for the summer.
Well, we're fairly close to the ocean, so we do get a nice breeze. But, obviously mosquitoes come with lots of standing water and even high humidity levels. But what we have this year, which is out of control, are deer flies.
Oh,
deer
really?
flies in the worst. Nothing is, we've been here 3 years now, and I have not seen a deer fly population this bad. I went to go turn my horses out in the back field last week, and it was like being in a bad horror movie. It was like being attacked by a swarm of bugs with human brains. They were so smart and so evil and so relentless. I wanted to just lay down and die. It was horrible. And they bite. And then we have these huge horseflies. I mean, a lot of you guys know how big horseflies can get. They're like B-52 bombers. But the fly whisk is really helpful for those, because they stick their little biting mandibles in your horse's neck, and the fly whisk just nails them. I love it. It's an instrument of death. Yes. But I love it.
Yeah, I know that Jennifer could not ride around the neighborhood here without her fly whisk right now. She just couldn't do it. Now, where can you pick them up, and how much are they?
You can pick them up at just about any tack shop or online tack retailer. The big catalog companies usually all carry them. Just Google fly whisk, WHISK. I like the natural materials, so I have a leather-wrapped handle with a wooden shaft and real horsehair. But they do make synthetic ones as well, and are a little bit less. They typically retail for about $50, $55. But it is so worth the small investment. You'll have it forever. And and we'll put links to, we'll put some photos up on stablescoop.com so you can see exactly what it looks like. And, the funny thing is it, for some people, you may feel a little awkward holding it and riding with it at first, but really in just 1 to 2 rides, you will become very adept at riding with it without it interfering with your hands or use of your aids at all.
Terrific. And I had something come across my email this morning, because I'm a volunteer for the Red Cross. They have a new app out that you might want to take a look at, especially if you're in hurricane country like we are down here in Florida. This app is a hurricane app, and it's if you go to the App Store, whether you're at the iPhone or an Android phone, either one, they have it for both, and just search for Hurricane by American Red Cross. Hurricane by American Red Cross is the name of the app. And what this app will do is it actually will give you the radar, it'll give you the track, it'll keep you informed, it'll give you alerts that you're in if you come into a hurricane warning. It also gives you information on what to do, where to go, emergency contacts. It's a very good application, as you would expect the American Red Cross to do. But it is terrific, and I downloaded it onto my phone and my iPod, both, and it seems to work fine on both of those. So just search for a Hurricane by American Red Cross. If you live along the coast anywhere, it would be advisable to do that. You never know when you're going to need this, baby, and we're coming into hurricane season, so time to take a look. You should, too, because you're actually in hurricane territory up where you are now.
We are indeed, yeah. Hurricanes are no joke up here.
You had a couple last year that you had to almost evacuate for.
We did, which turned out to be duds, like nothing ever. The hurricane that wasn't is what we called it. Well, actually, no, I have to say, Irene did do some beach damage, but we had no wind. No wind damage, just some tides. But you know what? You never know. Every year is different. You always have to be ready. And even if it's predicted but it doesn't actually hit, you can't beat the exercise.
Right, exactly. Well, and next time, it just might. So, the time you don't leave is the time it's going to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, very good. So that's what we have for you this week. We'll have more great stuff again next week. Don't forget all the other shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com. I want to encourage you to hop on over and listen to the eventing radio show this week, as they had a wrap-up show of the Olympics, and you can find Samantha over there. John, her co-host, was actually the announcer on Cross Country Day over at Greenwich, and we could hear him on the TV. I could hear him in the background announcing at the park there. And also, I wanted to encourage you to listen to the Dressage radio show this week, which is already out. And they did a preview. They had a very interesting guest who's a coach, a trainer, and part of the high performance committee here in the United States Equestrian Team. And she did a complete rundown of who she thinks is going to do what and what countries will do well at Dressage, which started Thursday. So we hope you enjoy that as well. And we'll do a wrap-up on Dressage next week on the Dressage radio show. But now it's time to switch to Dressage and start watching that, Helena. And I'll let you report on that. I'll watch a couple of tests, and I'll let you tell me about them.
I'm going to be watching what Colbert reports on Dressage. That's the most exciting Dressage show I've ever seen.
That is true. It's very funny. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you, Helena, and we'll talk to everybody again next week. Enjoy the Olympics, everybody.
Take care. Happy scooping.